Hi, everybody. Welcome to War Hero to Superhero with Michelle Faust. My husband is not here with me tonight because I am taking the live on my own, which is awesome. Tonight, we're going to be going over keeping the spark alive and the fun in the bedroom. And yes, when I say bedroom, I mean intimacy. Let me preface this that this is never going to be a how-to. But everything in this live is about how to keep the spark and intimacy going in a marriage. And a marriage, a relationship, whatever you are in, this is how to keep it alive. My husband joined you last night talking about how to wow your wifey, and that was a fantastic live. I was very, very impressed with how he did on that, and so much agreement with things that he said. If you missed that, go ahead and go to our past broadcast and go ahead and take a listen. It's totally worth your time. So we are going to start out, the first on this is butterflies and late nights. Everybody that's in a relationship can go back to when they first met their love of their life, their spouse, their partner, the person that you love and you're married to. For my husband and I, we met June of 2016, and then we got married in December of 2016. That is only 6 months. So we had a lot of intense butterflies and a lot of late nights. We went over, and actually when we were dating, I was in a ministry internship and he would come off of his military duty and come all the way to see me. And my favorite phrase was 5 more minutes. It's going to be 5 more minutes, which really 5 more minutes is not actually 5 more, it's 5 more woman minutes. Because I wanted like 45 more minutes. And my poor fiance at the time still had to be up early for work. But again, we had the butterflies and we had the ability to just want to spend so much time together, to be together. And when you're starting a relationship, you want to physically connect so deeply. You want to spend as much time together as possible. Like the spark is absolutely a roaring flame at that point. And now I will say, this is not a prescription for anybody, but my husband and I practice abstinence before marriage. So we really didn't have a quote unquote bedroom before we got married. But if we did, there would have been a lot of things going on in the bedroom. And I'm sure that, people who are dating have a lot of intimacy because you got a lot of hormones and other things and just attraction happening. But, there comes a point in every relationship that the honeymoon is over. And that can happen for all kinds of reasons. I mean, some people define the honeymoon as, okay, we have a wedding and then we go somewhere and that's the honeymoon. Full disclosure, my husband and I actually haven't had an actual wedding, which we went to the Justice of the Peace. So, we're technically married. We've been married for almost 15 years, but we haven't actually had a wedding, which is kind of crazy because I'm on the ball game of we are already married. We're never going to be any less married. I don't really feel the need to throw a giant party, but my husband, on the other hand, wants to still, do a wedding at some point, which may or may not happen. But anyways, so back to our story. My husband and I only knew each other for 6 months before we got married. Literally about less than a month later, I found out I was pregnant and my husband was deploying. So we didn't even have like the honeymoon. We went from like honeymoon stage to like not honeymoon stage. And like it was 100 to 0 very, very quickly. So, but I mean, every relationship's going to look different, but there's going to come a time in life's going to happen. You're going to break into monotony. You're going to be married. You're going to be in just life, and the fun in your bedroom is potentially going to drain away due to having kids, due to jobs. I mean, for all the military on here, I totally think you guys can relate to this, that just being a newlywed or any stage in your marriage and having your husband or your wife sent off to another country for between 4 months, 6 months, 18 months. I mean, the Army has a longer, Army and Marines go a lot longer than the Air Force. It still stinks either way, but your spark and your bedroom activities are kind of going to have to be on a hiatus for a certain amount of time. And then when they come home it's not just, woohoo, you're home, let's have sex. It's like, there's such a period of stress and reintegration, especially if you have kids. Like when my husband came home after we got married, I was 9 months pregnant with my son. So we don't really know each other. And now we're bringing a child into this world that we don't know what we're doing. And then this child ended up having colic for, I don't know, close to 7 weeks, wasn't sleeping. We were stressed and talking about divorce because there was so much just absolute stress. And I can't be the only person with this experience. I mean, there's a reason the honeymoon ends for people. And a lot of the times you're just, as a woman, and as sometimes you're just not in the mood at all. Like, I mean, honestly, I had 4 kids under the age of like 5 at one point, 3 non-walkers, everybody in diapers. And sometimes sleep becomes like the ultimate prize. Like more than food, and sex is not, it's nowhere to even be desired at that point. But it doesn't mean that your spouse does not have needs, but it's very easy to be like, I'm not in the mood or I'm tired. But the kicker is I've been married for 15 years. My kids are now borderline teenagers. I've been tired for 15 years. Like it's not an excuse saying, constantly I'm tired. Now your spouse hopefully has a good understanding that they need to understand that, legitimately you need to get rest and they're not, they need to understand they need to come together in an agreement on what a sexual frequency is. But it's very easy just to get in the rut of, I am not in the mood. But part of putting yourself out of that I'm not in the mood mindset is realizing sex is not about you. Sex should be about the focus of serving your partner in the ways that serve them. Again, I'm not going into details. That is not the style of We're Here to Superhero. But the concept is that you should be in the mindset of, what can I do today to serve my spouse in this way? Being in the bedroom, that is the context of what we are talking about. Getting outside of yourself and saying, yes, I know I'm tired. I know I'm exhausted. But, what can I do to love on my spouse in the way I only can love on my spouse? I mean, it's one person, 2 people in this relationship, and, the sexual aspect is between those 2 people. So I really hope. And part of that is trying to do what you can to keep your spouse captivated. Now, honestly, it's their responsibility to keep you the center of their attention, but it does help to try to maintain yourself. Like I love lazy Saturdays and I love PJs. And then, I'm the first to say, let's stay in PJs and sweats and not do the makeup and not do the hair. But when the husband comes home, like it's always good to just, like when you were dating, when you went on dates, when you first, met your spouse, like you always, fixed yourself up and took care of yourself. And I think that there's a lot of value in, no matter what stage you're in, just taking good care of yourself. And if it's working out, it's working out. If your spouse is happy where you are, then maintain where you are. But there's also a give and take on the other spouse's behalf, that there's going to be life circumstances that, there might be a change in the physical appearance. And as you age, that's going to change too. The main thing is making sure that, whoever you're with is your standard of beauty. And part of that is realizing the grass is not greener on the other side. And what I mean by this, that it's a very easy temptation to watch lives, watch Facebook, watch YouTube, and see all of these couples with fantastic spouses. Like, really, this spouse is a millionaire. This spouse is doing great things. This spouse seems, all put together. And then you're mentally going and saying, well, I wonder, what if I was with this person? Or what if, hey, I have an old relationship, I have an old ex, and then fantasizing about, what could the relationship have been if I would have gone over and, not broken it off with A, B, or C person. And you can't be emotionally available, sexually available to your spouse if you're just mentally pining for somebody else. Like the person that you are with is the person that needs to be in, the person that you are fully invested into. provided it's a healthy, functional, non-abusive relationship. Honestly, if there's abuse going on, this whole live is not the context. That's a whole nother decision. But if you're married and you have a good marriage, your spouse is to be the person that you're with, and, you know, protect that relationship, because, you know, you get around the wrong people. I mean, other people may not, you know, have the same respect for your marital boundaries. And that is really, really important. And with the whole point of this entire live is restoring the spark and learning to have fun in the bedroom. And you could be watching this and saying, hey, my marriage is in shambles. Like, we don't even have a spark. Like, the wood's wet. Like, we're not having sex. We don't even like to be around each other. And I can tell you that, you know, it does take work. You can redeem it if you both put 100% work into it. It could be as tedious as saying, we haven't had sex in weeks and we need to have sex. So we need to schedule having intimacy, and just creating that schedule to build the habit, to build the trust, to build that intimacy back. I can say this because my husband and I, we went from, you know, roughly about between year 4 and 7 wanting a divorce. Like, I didn't want to be married anymore. He didn't want to be married anymore. And we have had to go through the process of, sometimes you have to just do an action until it becomes something you want to do. And I know it sounds that's not sexy. that's not at all something that I would say is like the popular thing to do. The popular thing to do is just straight up get a divorce and start over, because, you know, it's got the person that I'm with is the problem. No, that's not. Now, sometimes that legitimately could be it. But you can honestly have a new marriage with the same person. It's about what you do with that. Like, 7 years ago, you know, I could not imagine sitting on here. There was nothing to say that I would be sitting here having a great marriage on a live, you know, with Worker to Superhero. But every single day, taking the steps, making those small choices equals, you know, having a marriage that I legitimately enjoy. Like, a marriage can be either a dead bedroom with a lot of resentment and wandering eye, or it can be an absolute amazing partnership and intimacy, and just having a fun bedroom is a huge benefit, and it just makes so much impact into your personal life. I mean, if your bedroom is dead, it's literally, it's going to affect every other room of your life. It's going to affect your living room. It's going to affect your boardroom, your health of your family, your health. Even if you have a lot of extra stress, it's going to affect your health on a regular basis. The best thing you can do is have the healthiest bedroom, you know, as you possibly can. Like, make your kids embarrassed, you know, like be that couple that kisses in front of your kids, you know, be that couple that, you know, you assume that they have been in a relationship for not very long because they're super handsy. Like, people make fun of those people, but, you know, somebody that's been married for 20 years still doing that, that's dang marriage goals. That is amazing. And that is what I hope for all of you that are watching this, that you can have the healthiest, most sexually active, fun, amazing, life-changing marriages. And that energy is going to go outside of your bedroom, and it's going to affect every single aspect of your life. Ooh, I have 18 comments. Oh, hello. Okay, it's, hang on. Let's see. Okay, my husband was tagging a bunch of people. I was like, that's a lot of comments. But unless we have other comments, or we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. But tomorrow, my husband and I are both going to be on tomorrow, which is going to be very, very exciting. So until then, if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments. We will get back to you. And until then, I'm going to say have a good night, and we will talk to you guys tomorrow. All right. Bye.